Namaste mera dosto. Hope everyone is doing well. Wishing you all a happy Republic Day. Today we are going to talk about the BBC documentary on Modi, which we all know was recently banned in India. It defames Modi and India. This, however, could be very beneficial for Modi. I don't know why they banned it, because people of India are missing the 2002 Modi, the one that was fearless in handling the situation when the Muslim mob burned Hindus alive. Modi was a CM then, so the documentary is all about how Modi handled the situation, and after that, the big riot happened in Gujarat. The state has remained peaceful for decades after such time. So let's take a look at what the media says about it. Even Rishi Sunak has to give statement on this issue.
Mr. Speaker, last night the BBC revealed the Foreign Office knew the extent of Narendra Modi's involvement in the Gujarat massacre that paved the way for the persecution of Muslims and other minorities we see in India today, with senior diplomats reporting that the massacre could not have taken place without a climate of impunity created by Modi, and that he was, in the FCO's own words, directly responsible for this violence. Given that hundreds were brutally killed and that families across India and the world, including here in the UK, are still without justice, does the Prime Minister agree with his diplomats in the Foreign Office that Modi was directly responsible, and just what more does the Foreign Office know of his involvement in this grave act of ethnic cleansing?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the UK government's position on this has been clear and long-standing and hasn't changed. Of course, we don't tolerate persecution where it appears anywhere, but I'm not sure I agree at all with the characterisation that the honourable gentleman has put forward.
That completes Prime Minister's questions. I'll just let them...
So right.
The only thing lower than the credibility of the BBC is the intelligence of its journalists. They are supposed to be fair and balanced, but sadly, they exhibit as much fairness as a Pakistani umpire and as much balance as a drunk auntie on stilettos with a dodgy hip walking a greased tightrope without an assist pole. The BBC, Rahul, is a methane-spewing landfill of lies, fraud and selectivity. And every now and then, the methane self-combusts and the putrid smell is all pervasive. You must also realize that these fraudsters are the dregs of the society, unemployable and surviving only because the clueless, bankrupt Brits are forced to throw some pennies in their piss pot. Look, you need to counter any fraud on two fronts. Expose what is being said and expose who is saying it. First, on who is saying it, and unlike the previous panelist who ranted on his opinion, I am going to give you 27 facts in 3 minutes flat, so please brace up for it. As I said, the BBC is a factory of fraud and fake news. Let me just give you a few examples out of hundreds. In 2018, BBC pulled down its report on Indian fake news because the report itself carried fake news. In 2016, it retracted its report claiming a protest march against a Syria bombing in Syria attacked an MP's house. In 2011, it apologized to Primark for a fictitious child labor Bangalore story. In 2015, it published the fake claim that India was funding MQM. In 2010, it apologized for its fake reports claiming Live Aid charity money was used in Ethiopia to buy weapons. In 2011, it retracted its fake news that a dog was stoned to death in Israel. In 2015, it retracted its fake news of a Nigerian hotel serving human meat. From spurious Rwandan genocide documentary to a blatantly one-sided coverage of the recent 2020 Delhi riots, to blaming Hindu hierarchy for Muslims raping a Dalit, to claiming Kaziranga poachers were actually victims of state apartheid, to EVM hacking conspiracies, to spreading fake news about a Sikh policeman getting death threats for saving a Muslim, to calling Burhan Wari a terrorist, a rebel leader. The Beeb has done it all for the sake of propaganda. Now let me come to what is being said. Well, to begin with, these gits don't even realize that Modi has been given a clean chit by none other than the Supreme Court. And when the BBC talks of Modi being anti-minority, let me give this turnip some facts. Minorities before 2014, 20,000 skill trained, 5% with government jobs, 3 crore scholarships, 70% girls school dropout rate. Minorities after 2014 when Modi took over, 2 million skill trained, 10% with government jobs, 5 crore scholarships, free UPSC coaching, 30% girls school dropout rate, while our Muslim population is 14.2%, as many as 31.3% of homes under Awas Yojana, 33% of funds under Kisan Samman Nidhi, 36 beneficiary under Mudra Yojana have been Muslims. Pradhan Mantri Shadi Shagun scheme exclusively for Muslim girls who complete their graduation before marriage. They will get 51,000, no question asked. Housing, skilling, scholarships, government jobs. No other prime minister has comparatively done more for Muslims than Modi. Finally,
BBC, the boring broadcasting corporation, epitome of lies, has released a quote-unquote investigative docu-series on an issue that has already been probed and investigated and dealt with and concluded by the highest court of India. It's flummoxing what they hope to portray when the truth is already out there. Fact is that the British boring propaganda corporation was hoping it could peddle lies and get away with it. Tonight, the people of India are saying, at least Republic is saying, BBC quit India. Let's debate.
BBC documentary on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, titled India the Modi Question, has triggered protests against BBC. The MEA has called it a propaganda piece designed to push a discredited narrative.
Let me just make it very clear. We think this is a propaganda piece designed to push a particular discredited narrative. The bias, a lack of objectivity, and frankly a continuing colonial mindset is blatantly visible. If anything, this film or documentary is a reflection on the agency and individuals that are peddling this narrative again. It makes us wonder whether about the purpose of this exercise and the agenda behind it. And frankly, we do not wish to dignify such efforts.
The BBC says its documentary was rigorously researched. Those who were interviewed reveal how points were cunningly sliced and diced.
What I would like you to consider also is that most of the voices are Indian voices. And to that extent, what they were doing is fulfilling the agenda of a very small, minuscule minority in India and trying to make it out to be the repository of liberalism and enlightenment in the world.
The allegation posed, the documentary has already been decided by the Supreme Court.
The proceeding has been pursued for last 60 years to keep the point boiling, obviously for ulterior design. It appears to us
This is so
that
ridiculous.
a coalesced effort of the disgruntled officials of the state of Gujarat, along with others, was to create sensation by making revelations which were false to their own knowledge.
And turns out they have ruled out on the narrative of those who are currently under probe for conspiracy.
उस वक्त जो यूपीए की सरकार आई उसने ढेर सारी मदद करी है तीसरा से तलवार की एनजीओ को ढेर सारी मदद करी है सबको मालूम है पूरे लुटियन दिल्ली को मालूम है
गुजरात में तो आपकी सरकार थी इतने
गुजरात में हमारी सरकार थी मगर जो एनजीओ था उसको भारत सरकार ने मदद करी है सब जानते हैं और केवल मोदी जी को टारगेट बनाकर ये सब किया गया पॉलिटिकल गेन चाहते थे
Many are pointing out that how UK is sending a team to India must mean India can send a team to probe matters in UK too. BBC should get its fact right or leave India.
The Godhra incident was cleared the government of India, government of Gujarat role, or even the Narendra Modi's involvement. Narendra Modi never involved. He maintained the Rajadharma. As part of the Rajadharma, the Chief Minister of Gujarat, he maintained the peace and calm. BBC telecast such fabricated news. The viewers will decide what BBC is.
Let's debate.
I think Trump is even harsher on Muslims than Modi ever was. I just don't understand this narrative that they're trying to go with. And Modi has helped the whole world, but they continue to want to do this to him, I guess, because he doesn't fit the World Economic Forum standard for a PM, I guess. All of the information is clear that Modi has done more for Muslims than any PM in the history of India. in the name of so-called minority schemes. I am really shocked that the second largest population and the one that is growing the most is still having a minority status and using the victim card with the Indian government. They should let the documentary play because it won't be the first one or the last one against Modi or Hindus. If they want to stop that propaganda, they should ban the BBC altogether. Okay, guys, well, that is it for today. Please keep supporting me. And for those who have not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Jai Shri Ram.